Next is the physiology of the puberty. Physiology of puberty that occurs due to the activation of the HPO axis, that is the ഹൈപ്പോതലാമോ പിറ്റ്യൂട്ടറി ആക്സിസിന്റെ ആക്ടിവേഷൻ കാരണമാണ് ഫിസിയോളജി, അതാണ് അവിടെ അത് വഴിയാണ് നമ്മുടെ പ്യൂബർട്ടിയുടെ ഫിസിയോളജി നടക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ HPO ആക്സിസ് ഫംഗ്ഷണൽ ആയിട്ട് ഇരിക്കുന്നത് ഇൻട്രായൂട്രിൻ ലൈഫിലാണ്. ഓക്കെ, ദ HPO ആക്സിസ് ഈസ് ഫംഗ്ഷണൽ ഡ്യൂറിംഗ് ദ ഇൻട്രായൂട്രിൻ ലൈഫ് ആൻഡ് ആഫ്റ്റർ ദ ബർത്ത് ഇറ്റ് ബിക്കംസ് ഡോർമെന്റ് ആൻഡ് ആഫ്റ്റർ അറ്റൈനിങ് പ്യൂബർട്ടി ഓർ അറ്റ് പ്യൂബർട്ടി ഇറ്റ് ഗെറ്റ്സ് ആക്ടിവേറ്റഡ്. വാട്ട് ദ HPO axis. Okay, so as I said now that after the birth it get dormant. So what are the causes for this dormancy? That is by the central inhibition and also by the adrenal glands. Central inhibition is by the neurotransmitters like GABA and neuropeptide Y. Okay, these will inhibit this HPO axis, that are the central inhibition. And adrenal gland is by adrenal gland will produces androgens. Okay, these androgens will be converted by the aromatase enzymes in the adipose tissue to estrogen. Okay, these androgens will be converted to estrogen by the aromatase, and this estrogen means this will produce a negative feedback on the HPO axis. Therefore, before puberty, this HPO axis has high sensitivity towards the circulating estrogen that is produced by the aromatase enzyme through converting androgens to estrogen. Okay, so estrogen is giving a negative feedback on the HPO axis and inhibiting the HPO axis. Okay, so that's why our HPO axis is dormant after the birth. Okay, and at puberty what happens? Puberty, our excitatory. So before puberty our inhibitory neurotransmitters like GABA and neuropeptide are acting, and after puberty our excitatory neurotransmitters start releasing. What are the, like kisspeptin, okay, pubertal release of gonadal releasing hormones, glutamate. Okay, so mainly which is the excitatory neurotransmitter? Kisspeptin and the glutamate. So kisspeptin alla kisspeptin. But kisspeptin and glutamate, so this will act on the HPO axis and the HPO axis becomes functional. Okay, and at this time the inhibitory neurotransmitters gets withdrawn. Okay, and one thing other than that, we know that in like obese females they will get puberty at an earlier onset of puberty. They will get, how means in these kids there is a release of leptin. Okay, leptin that is released from the adipose tissues of these females, and this is have an permissive action. Okay, so in obese females this increase in leptin will lead to relatively earlier onset of the puberty. Okay, so now our HPO axis gets functional, and our functional HPO axis here the hypothalamus start releasing GnRH, that is gonadotrophin releasing hormones, and this will act on the pituitary, and the pituitary start releasing initially FSH and later LH. Okay, and these two will act on ovary. So initially this FSH will be acting on the ovary and the estrogen starts producing through the follicles, and this will lead to the proliferation of the endometrium in the uterus, and later stage the LH will start stimulating the ovary producing progesterone. Okay, and thus that happens in a cyclical manner it will occur. Then another thing you should remember is the GnRH, its release is in a pulsatile manner. Okay, nocturnal release is there, that is day and night release, that is for 1 to 3 years, and this pulsatile release means the initial pulse frequency is low. Okay, so only FSH is released from the anterior pituitary at that time. Okay, and that time the cycles will be anovulatory cycles. Okay, next is the growth spurt, that is the females the growth spurt is earlier and shorter growth spurt, and in case of males the growth spurt is later and also longer growth spurt they have, and same till 10.5 years the growth spurt is same only. Okay, and there is a differentiation of puberty in female versus males. In females the age is about 10.5 years and males it is 11.5 years. Okay, and the sequence is that is in case of females the first sign is growth spurt. Okay, that is skeletal growth will be there, that is the first sign seen in females, and after that the first visible sign, okay, the first visible sign that is the thelarch, that is the most specific. Okay, first visible sign that is breast budding. Okay, breast budding, or we call it as the thelarchy or breast development. So that is the first physical sign of puberty. So that is the first physical sign of puberty, and which is a median age with that is shown, that is in 9 years. Okay, and next is the appearance of pubic and the axillary hair, we call it as puberty. Okay, appearance of pubic and axillary hair, that is known as the puberty. That is see pubic hair that is mainly seen at 10.5 years, and we call that axillary hair as adrenarche. Okay, that happens mainly at 12.5 years. So ഓരോന്നിനും ഓരോ ഏജ് ഉണ്ട്. ഇപ്പൊ telarche at 9 years ആണെങ്കിൽ puberty at 10.5 years, and at 12.5 years adrenarche, axillary hair will be sent. Okay, and after that peak height velocity. Okay, then there will be a peak height velocity, and by 6 months at 12.5 years the female will attain menarche. Okay, menarche means that is the first menses. Okay, first menses, and this menarche will be occurring at the later stages of the puberty, that is at around 10 to 16 years only the menarche will happen. That is the median age is, that is 12.5 years or 12.8 years. Okay, so the process of puberty, when will the process of puberty starts? The process of puberty will be starting by 9 years. Okay, and it is completed by 16 years, and in between will be the telarche, puberty, adrenarche, and last menarche will happen. Okay, and I said now that is the first bleed. Even if it occurs the initial 1 to 3 years, there will be no ovulation. That is, the initial bleed are often not always anovulatory. Okay, it will be an ovulation period ആയിരിക്കും ഒരു 1 to 3 years. Okay, because the initial there is a low, the production of the GnRH, that is in a pulsatile manner. No, so the initial stages, that is in a low pulsatile the manner that is releasing. So only the FSH is released at the initial stages, like for 1 to 3 years. Okay, okay, that's the sequence. And in males, the first scene will be testicular enlargement. First the testicles start enlarged, and second is the penile enlargement can be seen, and last puberty and peak height velocity can be seen. Okay, next is the precocious puberty. Precocious puberty means the secondary sexual characters appear less than 8 years. Okay, less than 8 years then secondary sexual characters start showing, and the causes are. So before studying that precocious puberty, you should know what is precocious puberty. What is the definition of precocious puberty? Precocious puberty is defined as the pubertal changes. Okay, here the pubertal changes that is occurring more than 2.5 standard deviation earlier the average age. അതായത് average age ൽ നിന്നും ഒരു 2.5 standard deviation earlier ആയിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ pubertal changes start occurring. That is the pubertal changes before 8 years. Okay, pubertal changes before 8 years തന്നെ വരും. That is the secondary sexual characters that is appearing less than 8 years, or menarche before 9 years. Menarche attain ചെയ്യും before 9 years തന്നെ attain ചെയ്യും. This can be called as precocious. ഇതിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ precocious എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, because the pubertal changes before 8 years or menarche before 9 years can be considered as precocious. And what is the main reason for this? ഇതിന്റെ മെയിൻ റീസൺ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് മോസ്റ്റ് കോമൺലി ഇഡിയോപ്പതിക് ആയിട്ടാണ് വരുന്നത്, ആൻഡ് 10% കേസസിൽ ബ്രെയിൻ ട്യൂമേഴ്സ് ഉള്ള കേസസിൽ. ഓക്കെ, ഇപ്പൊ ബ്രെയിൻ ട്യൂമേഴ്സ് ഉള്ള കേസസിൽ ഇത് വരാം. കാരണം നമ്മൾ എന്താണ് ഈ പ്രക്കോഷ്യസ് പ്യൂബർട്ടി ഉള്ളതിൽ ഒരു 10% കേസസിൽ നമ്മൾ MRI എടുത്ത് നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് ബ്രെയിൻ ട്യൂമേഴ്സ് കാണാൻ പറ്റും. ഓക്കെ, ആൻഡ് ഇൻ കേസ് ഓഫ് മെയിൽസിലാണെങ്കിലും മെയിൻലി ഇൻ females the secondary sexual characters are seen less than 8 years, and in males the secondary sexual characters appear less than 9 years in case of males in precocious puberty ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ. So all girls less than 6 with either breast or pubic hair development, and girls under 8 with both breast and pubic hair development need a thorough evaluation to determine the cause. And the cause കണ്ടുപിടിക്കാനായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ കറക്റ്റ്ലി നോക്കണം. ഓക്കെ, സോ ദ പ്രക്കോഷ്യസ് പ്യൂബർട്ടി കൂടുതലും കാണുന്നത് ഫീമെയിൽസിലാണ് മെയിൽസിനെക്കാളും. ആൻഡ് ദ മാനേജ്മെന്റ്, ദ ഡ്രഗ് ഓഫ് ചോയ്സ് ഈസ് കണ്ടിന്യൂസ്ലി യു ഷുഡ് ഗിവ് ദ GnRH കൊടുക്കണം, ആൻഡ് ഓൾസോ ദ GnRH ആന്റഗോണിസ്റ്റ്. പിന്നെ വേറൊരു ടൈപ്പും കൂടെ ഉണ്ട്, ഡിലേഡ് പ്യൂബർട്ടി. ഡിലേഡ് പ്യൂബർട്ടി പക്ഷെ കൂടുതൽ കാണുന്നത് മെയിൽസിലാണ്, ഫീമെയിൽസിനെ കാണും. ഹിയർ ഇൻ ഫീമെയിൽസ് ഇതെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ എന്താ, ഡിലേഡ് പ്യൂബർട്ടി സെറ്റ് ടു ഒക്കർ വെൻ ദർ ഇസ് നോ ബ്രസ്റ്റ് ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് ബൈ ദ ഏജ് ഓഫ് 13. അതായത് 13 വയസ്സായിട്ടും ദർ ഇസ് നോ breast development. Okay, we call it as delayed puberty. Okay, so we call it after the 15 years also, if the child is not attaining menarche, then we call it as a condition of primary amenorrhea. Okay, so you should start the evaluation if there is no breast development by 30 or no periods by 15 years. So we can say in females no secondary sexual characters by 13 years and no menarche by 15 years. Okay, and what the main causes are, most commonly it is due to the constitutional delay or due to a syndrome which is known as the Kallman syndrome. That is a syndrome, there will be decreased GnRH condition. Okay, or due to it is also seen in Turner syndrome. There is gonadal dysgenesis is there. Okay, and also it is due to primary ovarian insufficiency, that is premature menopause സംഭവിക്കാം, primary ovarian insufficiency, and due to PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, anovulation condition, and androgen insensitivity syndrome. So these are the main causes. Okay, then in case of males, no secondary sexual characters by 14 years, and the most common cause is constitutional delay only, and the drug of choice is pulsatile GnRH you should give. So that's it.